Alright, no shop dog today. It's been a lot of work today, and we're not quite done. We are gonna loosen some motor mounts, try to shift the motor just a little bit. It's not a lot of adjustment in the way these headers are done. And boy, putting them T-bolts in, that wasn't fun at all. Plus, we had to pull the sills, or these little decorative trim plates. We have no idea how we're gonna get those back on, since pipes now cover where the screws go, so that's gonna be a fight. That'll be fun. But we're trying to get the pipes where we want them and not hitting the door. So that's been a big chunk of today's fight. We had 2 disappointments today. We rebuilt that steering gear, or the steering control valve, and went to put one of the fittings in. And I think we found our actual leak. I don't know if it shows up in the video, but right here, where at the tip of my thumbnail, is a crack. And that's that top high pressure fitting on the valve that we probably misdiagnosed as a leaky seal. And there's a pretty good chance that that's why it was leaking. So now we get to buy a new one because, Corvettes always like new parts. They don't like reusing things. So that was a surprise, but at least it happened here and not while he was driving, because that would have been a surprise. The other kind of disappointment is we had noticed during some electrical troubleshooting last week, which is what we did last week, was just troubleshooting electronics, that the wipers didn't really work all that well. So today we pulled all this apart, and not only are some gears melted, not so happy, we actually pulled this apart, and the comm bar is completely toast. The brushes are worn clean through. The commutator's not good. So we're replacing that, but at least that's a little cheaper anyway. So not the best news today. 2 disappointments and then fighting the headers for the last couple hours. These exhaust on this is, not fun, but there was no way we could do it without pulling that trim. So we pulled that, which was fun. And then we loosened the motor mounts and swung the motor a little bit. But this header is still under a little bit more tension than we prefer. So we're gonna loosen the mounts again next week and rock the motor some more and see what we can do. Outside of that, did a lot of electrical testing last week. Pretty much everything that we tested is now working. We had a few little difficulties, and there's always things you find. So we're getting there. Got the hood off last week as well, and that's put away safely because we're going to take all this vacuum stuff out. And somewhere around here is a kit that's going to take it electric, and it's right here on the floor. So this kit replaces all that vacuum stuff with a couple little electric motors. It's going to make it work better. This engine doesn't have a ton of vacuum, so there is that. Probably the only fun thing that happened is on the laser, he got some sample tags. So on the laser, I played around making the tags here. Now, here's his original tag, 454 cubic inch, I think it was 9 1/4 1 compression, 395. This is the first one where I discovered that there was a layer I had to sand off to get the Theramark to stick, or to bond. So I did that one several times, and once I got a process down with that one, then did this one up real nice. So that's the one that's actually going to go in the car. And I think that looks pretty nice. So, and it's using the data from this engine and not from the original engine. Well, which this is still the same original motor, just rebuilt and stroked. Okay, so let's pop that back in. So yeah, so that's where we're at right now. And unfortunately, I didn't bother last week since you wouldn't have noticed any of what I did. It was all just applying power and troubleshooting things down, discovering that the circuit for that light right there an 1157 had been stuck in that socket, and it turns out it uses a 1004, but the outside housing is still grounded on that socket when it's attached. So it lit, and it stayed lit, and it was always lit. You know, had to actually chase it down through a wiring diagram to figure out why. But, you know, it's always silly little things like that that get you. So anyway, there's our Corvette update. We're putting away tools. And, yeah, looking really forward to playing with the headlight doors. That'll be fun.